Hello students, welcome to M10 classes. As I have told you in the previous lecture that today we are going to start a new chapter, and that is from physics, and that is electricity. So in this session we are going to discuss about the fundamentals of electricity, that is related to electric charges, electric current, potential difference, and different kinds of electric components that are used in the electric circuits. So first of all, what is electricity? Electricity is the set of physical phenomena associated with the presence and motion of electric charges. Or you can also say that electricity is a form of energy that is associated with the presence and motion of electric charges. Now this electricity is of two types. One is static electricity and other is current electricity. You have already read about static electricity in class 7th or 8th, and that is produced due to rubbing and friction. Due to rubbing and friction, there is a temporary movement of charges from one body to other body, and due to which a body get positively charged and the other body get negatively charged. Here in current electricity, we'll see about the continuous flow of electric charges. Next comes your electric circuit. What is electric circuit? It is a triple C path. Remember, it is a triple C path. And what is triple C? It is closed, continuous and conducting path through which electric current can pass. And this electric circuit can be of two types. One is closed circuit and the other is open circuit. Now let us discuss what is this closed, continuous and conducting path. Now students, look at this. It is a simple electric circuit consisting of a battery, a switch and an electric bulb. Now let us see about the closeness of the circuit. Now here it is a switch, and you know the switch can be open or closed. Now it is closed, and if it is closed it will provide a conducting closed path for the flow of electric current. But if I am going to open the switch from here, the conducting path will be broken and the electric current will not be able to flow through the circuit. Now it is not closed. Now let us see about continuity of this circuit. Now let's say this is the experiment which is being conducted by your teacher in a classroom, and a mischievous boy comes and it cuts the wire, let's say from here near the bulb. Now when the wire will be cut, now the circuit will be broken and it will not provide a continuous path for the flow of electric current, so the bulb will not glow. Now what about conducting path? Now let us say I will cut this wire at one place and I am going to place a wooden block here. Now, as you know, the wooden block is an insulator and will not be able to conduct electricity. Now, even if the circuit is closed, this wooden block is an insulator and will not be able to flow the electric current, and that's why the bulb will not glow. So that is why we'll require a closed, continuous and conducting path for the flow of electric current. Now let us discuss about electric charges. You know there are two types of charges, one is positive charge and negative charge. The protons carry positive charge and the electrons carry negative charge. Now what is the value of this? Now the SI unit of electric charge is coulomb. Now the protons carry 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb, and electrons carry minus 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. So as you can see here, the magnitude of electric charge for both proton and electrons are same, and the difference lies in their sign, whether they are positively charged and negatively charged. There is a question in a book: calculate the number of electrons constituting 1 coulomb of charge. Now let us discuss this. The answer which is given in the paragraph of your book says that the number of electrons that will constitute 1 coulomb charge is about 6 into 10 to the power 18 number of electrons. Now let us verify it through the numerical. Now 1 electron carries 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. So 1 coulomb, it will be equals to 1 by 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 number of electrons, and that will give you 6.25 into 10 to the power 18 number of electrons. Now it would be your answer. Now next come to electric current. Electric current can be defined as the amount of electric charge flowing through a conductor per unit time. Or you can say that it is the rate of flow of charge in a conductor. And the electric current is denoted by the letter I, and its SI unit is ampere. So as per the definition, we can say that current, that is I, equals to Q by T. That is I, which stands for electric current, Q is the charge, and T is the time. So this is the formula to calculate electric current. Now there can be different values of this electric current. It may be has higher values in ampere, and also has very small currents which ranges in milliampere range, microampere range, and for very minor circuits it can also range in nanoampere ranges. So what is 1 milliampere? It is 10 to the power minus 3 ampere. 1 microampere, it is 10 to the power minus 6 ampere, and 1 nanoampere is equals to 10 to the power minus 9 ampere. Now you have seen in the previous circuit, we have connected the circuit with a battery which has a positive terminal to negative terminal. So in which direction the electric current flows? The direction of current is always from the positive terminal to the negative terminal. But as you know, the electric current is the result of flow of electrons or electric charges, and the direction of this electric charge or electron is just opposite to that of electric current. That means the electric current flows from positive terminal to negative terminal, but the electrons that flow from negative terminal to the positive terminal. Now you may get a question like this: define 1 ampere or define the SI unit of current. It has already come in the board exams. Now how to define it? Now you can get it from here, from the formula. You know, for the current, the SI unit is ampere. So 1 ampere, that is equals to, for charge it is coulomb, 1 coulomb divided by 1 second. So you can say that the current is 1 ampere when 1 coulomb charge flows through a conductor in 1 second, and that will be the definition of 1 ampere. You can get it from the formula itself. Now let us see a numerical. Find the amount of charge that will flow through a circuit in which a bulb draws 0.25 ampere current for 20 minutes. Listen students, as in the previous classes also I have told you, whenever you are given with a numerical, so first of all write the data. So what is the data you are getting from here? The current is 0.25 ampere and the time is 20 minutes. Remember, the SI unit of time is second. So you have to convert this minute into second and you will get 1200 second. Now you have got the data, put it in the formula. I equals to Q by T. So Q equals to IT, and you will get by multiplication that the charge is 300 coulomb. Now one of the important part of the discussion is potential difference. So students, try to understand this carefully. What is potential difference? The definition is, it is defined as the work done in moving a unit charge from one point to other of a conductor. Its SI unit is volt and the formula is V equals to W by Q. That means the work done to move a unit charge. That is the potential difference, its SI unit is volt, and for work done the SI unit is joule, and for charge the SI unit is coulomb. Now what is this potential difference? What is the concept behind this potential difference? Now see here, suppose let us consider air current or wind. Wind always flow from high pressure to low pressure area. Similarly, water current that flows from high level to low level. Now, what is the cause behind the flow of electrons or the flow of electric current? Now, the electric current flows from higher potential to the lower potential. Electric current is due to the movement of charges, but there might be an agent, and there must be an agent due to which the electrons flow, and that agent is nothing but your potential difference. Remember, the flow of electric charges in a conductor is due to the potential difference between the 2 points of a conductor. Now, the electric current flows from higher potential to the lower potential, and the electrons flow in the opposite direction, that is your negative to positive terminal. Now, suppose think of a battery. Okay. Now, a battery has two terminals, positive terminal and negative terminal. Positive terminal is considered to be the higher potential and negative is the lower potential. So the current will flow from positive to negative and the electrons will flow from negative to positive. Now let us see a battery. Now see, here there is a pencil battery, and through the multimeter the voltage or the potential difference is measured and it shows 1.595, that means around 1.6 volt. Now when gradually the battery will be used, let's say in a device like clock, and when it will be worn out, that means when it will be over, you will bring it and you will find that the voltage will be as low as 0 volt or 0.125, like this. That means when you are going to use that worn out battery in the clock will not operate. It is because the potential difference is very low, or it is, let's say, consider the potential difference is 0. When the potential difference is 0, the electric charges will not flow. So potential difference is necessary for the flow of current and the flow of electric charges. Now you can get a question, define 1 volt or define the SI unit of potential difference. As I have discussed for electric current, that you have to derive the this definition from the formula itself. Now you have V equals to W by Q. So 1 volt, that is equals to, for work done, the SI unit is joule, 1 joule divided by, for the charge it is coulomb. So 1 joule divided by 1 coulomb. You can say that the potential difference between 2 points of a conductor is said to be 1 volt when 1 joule of work is done to move 1 coulomb charge from one point to other, and that would be the definition. Now here is a numerical for you. Calculate the work done in moving 5 coulomb charge between 2 points on a conductor having potential difference 2 volt. So as I have told you, you have to take out the data from it. Charge is 5 coulomb, so Q equals to 5 coulomb. V voltage, that is equals to 2 volt, and put it in the formula, V equals to W by Q. So W equals to VQ, and you'll get 10 joule. That is the answer. The problems or the numericals are very simple. So students, whenever you see an electronic circuit, you may find many number of components that are being attached inside the circuit. But for now, for at class 10 standard, so you have to know about some components which are used in the electric circuit, and you will be able to know how are they utilized in the electric circuit. So let us discuss about some electric components. As you can see in the figure, you have electric bulb. Next is resistor. This is a zigzag line that has been drawn here. Remember, resistor do not has any positive end or negative end. Next comes to rheostat. Rheostat is nothing but a variable resistance. In case of resistor, the value is fixed, but in case of rheostat, the value varies. Next comes electric cell. Students, so whenever you say that it is a pencil battery, that is not a battery, that is actually a cell, a single cell. So as it has a positive terminal and negative terminal, in electric cell the positive end is drawn with a longer side, and the negative part shown as a shorter side. So this is the electric cell. Next is battery. Battery is a combination of cell. You might have seen that in very big vehicles like your buses or trucks, battery is used. So, and they have different number of tappings over it. So they have a number of cells which constitute to make a battery. Next is plug key or switch, that is open. This is the plug key and this is the switch, it is open. Next is plug key or switch closed. When it is closed, there will be a dot mat inside the braces, and this is the closed switch. Wire crossing over. Wire crossing over, that means it is not jointed. This is shown as this picture. Ammeter. Ammeter, as it is written A stands for ammeter. It has two terminals, one is positive terminal and negative terminal. Galvanometer, as the name starts from G, so there is a G here within the circle, and it has two terminals again, positive and negative. Similarly, voltmeter also, it has two terminals, positive and negative. It will be utilized in your circuits, and you are going to utilize while drawing the circuits. Now let us see what is this ammeter and what is voltmeter and what is galvanometer. First comes your ammeter. Ammeter is a electromechanical device which is used to measure the electric current flowing through the circuit. Now how much amount of current is flowing through the circuit, that is measured through this ammeter. It is connected in series with the circuit. Remember students, these concepts are very much essential. So remember it, that ammeter is always connected in series with the circuit. It has low resistance. Voltmeter, it is a device which is used to measure the potential difference, or which we usually say the voltage. Now it is connected in parallel with the circuit and it has high resistance. Next comes your galvanometer. Galvanometer doesn't measure the current, instead of that it detects and indicates the current. And also it will change the direction if the direction of the current will change, and it will be utilized and this concept will be utilized in the next chapter, that is your magnetism. So remember this concept, that galvanometer is used to detect the low currents and indicate the direction of the current. So students, let us see some examples of electric components, and that you may also see at your homes if they are present. Inside the electric circuit, you may find the components like this. These are called the resistors, and you can see here there are different color bands over it, and these color bands are used to denote specific values of the resistors. In the next class, when I'll teach you about Ohm's law and resistance, I'll tell you about this color code. Next comes, this is a rheostat that is used basically in the laboratories. So if you have a rheostat in your physics laboratories, you can see also, and you can see that there is a tapping over it. This tapping is movable and it is used to vary the resistance of the rheostat. Now this is called potentiometer, or it is also known as it is also a variable resistance or a rheostat. Where have you seen it? You might have remembered that in the old television sets, so the volume regulators can be moved, it can be rotated. Similarly, in the fans also the regulator regulates. So what is the use of this? Now suppose, let's say, consider the fan. Now whenever you rotate that regulator, the speed of the fan increases or decreases. It is because while regulating that regulator, the resistance varies, due to which the current varies, and accordingly the speed of the fan varies. And we are going to discuss it elaborately when we are going to read about resistance and its effect on current. So this is a potentiometer. It can be used in the radio sets, in the television sets, in the fan regulators. These are used. And as I have already discussed, that the big buses and trucks, they have a battery and there are, you can see that different tabs, they show that the different numbers of cells are present inside this. Now this is an ammeter, as it is written here milliampere. That means it measures in the range of milliampere, and the range is given from 0 to 100. That means it can measure from 0 milliampere to 100 milliampere. You can also see it in the laboratories, and these are not practically being used, that these are only for laboratory setups. Now again, here is a voltmeter, so it measures from 0 volt to 10 volts. Next come here galvanometer. Now see here, in ammeter and your voltmeter, the indication starts from 0, but here you have indication 0 at the center, and the other indications, that is 0 to 300 on both left and right hand side. Why is it so? Because as I have told you, is indicates on the directions also. That means when the current will flow, if it will, let's say, flowing in a direction, and it shows the indication in the right side, and if you are going to change the direction of the current, the indication will be towards the left side, and this is the galvanometer. So this is all about the basic concepts that you need to know about this electricity. So moreover, all these concepts, some of these concepts can also be realized in your day-to-day life. When we are going to discuss it in this chapter, you will find it interesting. So in the next class, we'll start Ohm's law and resistance. Till then, bye bye. Keep watching this channel, and also like, comment in the comment section, and also share with your friends. Thank you.